Hey, Mom. So I'm doing a project for my entrepreneurship and imagination class, and I need to ask you a couple questions about my childhood.
Okay.
And this is recorded, clearly. And yeah, and so I just need to ask you a couple questions, and let's get started.
Okay.
So, and please do not cry throughout the duration of this interview because I can already see it happening. But so let's just start off nice and easy with a simple question, which is, for you, what was my nickname that you gave me growing up,
Your nickname was Peanut.
and why was that my nickname? Please explain.
Your nickname was Peanut because you were born prematurely and you were 5 pounds, 5 ounces. So you were so teeny that we called you our little Peanut
Was that right away, or?
right away.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah,
Oh, that's interesting.
always.
All right, cool. Well, let's fast forward rather than the second of my birth. Let's fast forward a couple months or maybe even several years. And I just want to know, what is your favorite memory of us, or favorite story? Either or. Could just be a little snippet. Can be a whole thing.
Our favorite story of us together, just the two of us.
Us together, about me, family.
I think my favorite memories are how, even as a child, you always appreciated fashion.
Anything specific?
Very specific.
Okay, go ahead.
You were the only one that would ever notice my new shoes,
Oh,
which were many.
that actually is true.
Do you remember?
Yeah, that's actually a good
All
point.
right, and you always, whenever I bought new shoes, you would always tell me how much you liked my shoes.
That's a good point.
So I appreciated that.
You're welcome. I still do.
I know you do.
15 years later, whatever it is. Any other memories or story, something? If no, it's okay. I mean, it's okay.
There's so many.
All right,
Give
say
me
another
the
one.
target to go on.
Literally, it could be anything. It just anywhere where I fostered creativity or I used my imagination.
Here is, okay, so there's several that I could talk about. When you fostered imagination was, I don't remember how old you are, maybe 7 or 8.
That's fine.
And Daddy taught you how to ride your bicycle in the alley behind the house.
Some vivid memories of that.
Yes, and ever since you learned how to ride a bike, and we would take you up to the school, up to 144, a block away. You had a basket on your bike, and inside your basket was always A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens.
That's right. I still have that book.
You do. And you would sit, ride your bike to the schoolyard, sit. The book was upside down half the times, but insisted that you knew the book and that you read it yourself as opposed to it was being read to you. And would make up whatever word that you potentially could find in the book that you could read.
Oh man.
And rewrote basically A Tale of Two Cities.
I bet my version was better.
It was very interesting, actually.
Oh, I'm sure. I feel like now you're saying that, I'm thinking of, I used to throw in Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park and Charles Dickens
Oh,
were
yeah.
very...
I used to throw in Jurassic Park stories into the Charles Dickens books.
Right, and that phase lasted quite a while. It wasn't a quick one.
No?
No, not at all. That book
It was a pretty big book.
is a very big book,
And I
especially
think it's
for a
also,
little kid.
I think it's also 3 stories.
It is 3 stories.
okay,
It's a
in one.
Christmas Carol.
Tale of Two Cities.
I don't remember the third one, though. We have to get it upstairs.
No, I don't remember it either.
It's
but
in
yeah.
your library.
I know.
But you mentally rewrote
Yeah, I know.
those stories.
Some good times, honestly.
But very convincingly, might I
Oh, good.
add.
Thank you.
People thought you were a little genius in the schoolyard.
What can I say? Clearly, they never read the books either.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
I think there's also interesting stories of when Isabella was born.
What'd I do?
You couldn't say Isabella. So what you could get out was sis, because we said she's your sister. And you couldn't for some reason you couldn't say Isabella. So it ended up being sis, which went to your sissy girl. So sis grew up being your sissy girl for years.
That I actually don't remember.
Yes, always your sissy girl. Always your sissy girl. And then now, 18 years later, sis is still sis.
Sis is still sis.
And the entire world refers to her as sis. So sis's nickname was incorporated by you. Because you couldn't say Isabella.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That I did not know.
Yeah. And you would sit on the floor with her in her bouncy seat, feeding her or making believe you were feeding her. And also calling her your sissy girl.
That's nice.
There's actually another memory that I have of you being maternal, if you will.
Maternal, not even paternal?
Maternal.
Nice.
I don't remember how old you were, maybe. We were still in the other house, I think. I'm going to say anywhere from 2 to 4. And you had a friend named Haley, a girl.
Oh, yeah, Haley.
Haley, yep. And Haley's mom was a huge feminist, and Brandy, and bought you your first Cabbage Patch doll and your first pink baby doll stroller. And your Cabbage Patch doll was McKaylee. He was a boy.
Oh, he was a boy.
He was a boy. You named him McKaylee.
An
And you
interesting
had
name.
a little pink baby doll stroller that you pushed McKaylee all over Forest Hills in.
Wow.
Happily. With your paternal, maternal instincts that you were using.
Yeah. That's kind of crazy.
And cute.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I'm sure Dad had a couple words about that. but-
Dad wasn't so happy all the time with
Yeah,
it.
well, I turned out okay, so
Oh, I have another one.
there you go.
This ties in your imagination, your fashion
Go
trends.
ahead. Well, what is this?
So this is...
Is it Zoe?
No.
Oh.
It's along those lines. This is when sis was, I don't know, 3 and you were 5 or 6. Sis used to play with plastic Cinderella shoes. And she had these 12 pairs of little plastic mule heels with a princess on each one. And between you and her, you would just trade off and walk up and down the hallway, catwalking in the heels between the two of you. You had a very good shoe imagination as a child.
That is ridiculous.
So, yeah, there was always a fashion trend in there somewhere.
Yeah, no, I don't. Good thing I like sneakers and Jordans and Yeezys
Now you do,
They're-
but it all started out with plastic Cinderella
I
shoes.
guess that's.
Before Dad took over and let the sports field.
I'm glad that took over early on in my life.
Yeah, so...
All right, cool. If you come up with any other stories you would like to add, just say it whenever. Just let me
Okay.
know.
Okay.
But now I'm gonna move on and I'm gonna explain a little bit about this. I'm gonna move on to my social style, which is pretty much. I had to take a little assessment a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago. And there are 4 categories: analytical, driver, amiable, and expressive. And there was a questionnaire we had to take. We have to rate ourselves for assertiveness and responsiveness. And whatever the average was, it deemed whatever our category, our personality is.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got amiable, which, just to just to like give you a little background of what amiable is, we appear to be, I'm putting in quotes, appear to be quiet and reserved. We are friendly listeners. We are easy to get along with. We enjoy personal contact. We are concerned about collaboration and reaching agreement. We require extensive data to make decisions, and we prefer to have a consensus among everybody. And also personal ties before goals. We value that pretty strongly. So, and then...
Can I agree with that assessment?
Yeah, you could give some input.
I actually think I think that that's probably like 80% correct. What were the first 2 points?
Appears to be quiet and reserved.
That I don't agree with.
Even as a child?
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah, why?
We spent more time. I became the PA president of your elementary school because I spent a lot of time chit-chatting with your teachers about your chit-chatting.
About my chit-chatting?
About your chit-chatting to all the other students starting from kindergarten.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. So I quickly learned that I needed to get to know every single person in that building that potentially could have anything to do with you. So I could pave a little bit of an easier way through it. But
thankfully you did.
Yeah,
thankfully
and I did, and I learned a lot.
Oh, I know you did.
And we started in kindergarten with your chatty behavioral chart, which you got either a smiley face or a frowning face. And if you chatted too much, you came home with a frown. And if you were not chatting too much, you came home with a smiley face. So,
what do you think the majority of it was? And you can be candid on recording.
Oh, you chatted a lot.
Oh, I'm sure
What
did.
I found really ironic was, I don't remember, it was either maybe 10th or 11th grade, maybe 10th grade, and I went to go and see your math teacher that you loved. What was his name?
In what grade?
10th, 11th?
Oh, Jim Napolitano.
Jim Napolitano. And Jim Napolitano said how brilliant and how much he loved you and enjoyed you being in his class and how engaging you were and how over-engaging you were at times. And I thought, and I told him, how is it possible that I've been having the same conversation with teachers since kindergarten?
Oh, yeah.
So I definitely disagree with that point. What was the second point?
Oh, friendly listener.
I think you're a very friendly listener.
Yeah, there is one trait that goes along with amiable that I'm not a fan of.
Which is?
I want to see what you think about it, and that would be amiables tend to be followers.
Oh, I don't think you're a follower at all.
No, that's what I
But
thought,
I do think that I don't think that you're a follower, but I do think that you're a people pleaser.
Yeah, so maybe in order, agreed.
So
I think there's maybe like a give and take, like they're...
Yeah, I don't think you're going to blindly follow someone, but I think that you will go out of your way to please people around you. And just to revert back to school for a second, in this same about your personality, from, remember, I think it was elementary school actually with Mr. Marino, your gym teacher. Do you remember Mr. Marino?
Yeah, of
The
course.
gym teacher.
All right, continue.
This is just about your personality, and it continued through high school with Mr. Powell, and I remember these names because of these conversations that I've had, was that you were very athletic very early on, very, very athletic. And when the teams break up in gym class, and obviously all the athletic kids kind of team up together.
Oh yeah, we had captains.
Captains, and then you were usually a captain of one of the teams. And then typically what would happen is the other captain would pull all the stronger kids, and normally each captain will go one by one. You always took the not as athletic children, the kids that would typically get picked last, and you would pick them first so that they would feel good.
Of course.
Even right, but that's not very typical, especially in elementary school. But your gym teachers always brought that up to us and let us know that that's who you were during school.
Do you think that there was a change from my childhood going into my teenage years of my social style? You know, I would tell you analytical. I mean, you can just make an assumption from the name itself. Probably wasn't the most analytical.
No, not at
So
all.
I don't even need to get into what really that one is. But there's also driver and expressive.
What is driver?
Well,
What is expressive?
the driver is when we were talking about it is what you are, the business-like, results-oriented.
Right.
You know, strong opinions,
That's me.
likely to take charge and take initiative,
That's right.
always. And expressives on the other hand, to give an example, my teacher put Jim Carrey as an expressive. That
Okay.
helps a little bit. Energetic, direct and open, fast-paced, comfortable taking social initiative, engages freely in friendly conversation, willingly shares ideas, insights, and visions.
This is a good
expressives.
description of who you are.
Well, do you think that? So between amiable and expressive, even though, we'll forget that. Between amiable and expressive, which one do you think I was growing up, and what do you think I am now? I could be both.
That's
the
what
same.
I was just gonna say.
Maybe I didn't change. Why? Maybe explain a little bit why I didn't change. Or?
I think that you've always had. I think that since you're small, that you're a people pleaser.
Small is in my height.
Well, I mean that's still the same.
Yeah, I guess.
Since you're a child,
Okay.
a small child and a small man, so we can differentiate.
Okay, I didn't know if you meant like as in young or actually my height, but okay. We have to be clear for the recording here.
Okay.
So as in my height.
As in
Continue.
your age.
Oh, is it my age?
Yes, when you were small.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
When you were a kid.
When I was a kid, continue.
Yes, even when you're a kid, your height hasn't changed in a really, really long time.
I thought you were taking shots.
No.
You were taking shots. Okay, continue.
I think that you, even as a child, were a very kind boy and a people pleaser.
Yes.
To a fault at certain times, which we've talked about people taking advantage of you,
of course.
and
Of course.
maybe that's because I'm a driver and I see things completely different. But I think you've remained, even now, pretty consistent. I would say maybe actually in college, you have started to maybe take a step back finally when, because you're such an easy personality, that you're starting to push back a little bit now in college. Maybe when you're seeing people taking advantage of a little bit. But as far as friendly and welcoming and just making people feel at home, that is pretty much been consistent since you were a child.
Yeah, I think I can agree with that, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think you've had. I think transitioning from elementary school to middle school, to baccalaureate, was a tough transition for you, if you remember.
Yeah, honestly, I'm glad you brought that up, baccalaureate, because obviously, going to baccalaureate, 68 kids in my grade, doing the IB program, having my school be in a old hat factory or something,
right.
literally like just such a small building, and everything was just small about
What was
baccalaureate.
it? The Jim McCall? Jim.
Oh yeah, the gym, the auditorium, and the cafeteria. I can't even say it. One room.
Gymatorium.
Do you
Cafe Gymatorium?
Cafe Gymatorium. Do you think I would have been different if I would have went to a larger high school? You know, do you think I would have?
I think, it's hard to say. I think that.
Do you think I would have flourished as well in a larger high school?
Yeah, I think you would have flourished as well.
Yeah.
Like I saw your first going into Syracuse.
High school / middle school.
Yeah.
Because, not,
7th through 12th
7th
grade,
through 12th, just
right.
making it clear, yeah.
When I was pushing you to go to a much smaller college, you wanted the complete opposite.
That is true.
Syracuse.
That is true.
Right?
Do you think that has anything to do with my social style? Like,
well, I think your social style is the same whether it's a smaller environment or a larger environment.
Yeah, that's true.
When you got to Syracuse, you were, I know you don't like me to say this, the president of your floor at Boland 8.
That is true.
And that's true,
That is true.
going in. So I think whether it is 68 kids or what did I tell you when you were in London last semester and there were 210 kids? By Thanksgiving, I was shocked you didn't know all of them.
That's true.
I figured you would have worked your way through all 210 Syracuse students.
That's true. Maybe because I was being abroad is a little bit different. I did make a bunch of new friends though, but I did not meet all 210 of them.
Which I expected you to do.
Well, that definitely, that would have been a tall task to complete.
I don't think so, but if you do, okay. I definitely don't think so.
Maybe next time.
So I think that you've been. I think you've been pretty consistent with who you are.
Life.
I do think so.
Yeah.
I think that you are kind-hearted and that shines through. I think you're learning that you need to be a little bit more in the driver's seat.
Maybe, yeah.
Or I'm going to keep convincing you of
That's
that.
true.
So I think that... you change as you grow and the situations that you're in. But I think that your core personality has remained the same. Cool. And that's what makes you who you are.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you.
Yeah. Whether it's home, whether it's at school or on... We didn't talk about sports. I'll leave that to Dad. But
leave that to Dad,
I think that your personality and your leadership and kindness through... all of your sports remains the same, but I'll let Dad talk about that.
Thank you. Okay, cool. I think might be all the questions I have, or discussion. If there anything else you would like to add, anywhere where I fostered creativity when I was younger,
things I did. Sitting in my dining room and the entire artwork in my entire home is between artwork that you or your sister have created behind you.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm looking.
Yeah. So I think that they're very abstract. If you remember, your elementary school was all based around the arts and based around all the art residencies that we work for, our partnership with the Queen's Museum. Your artwork was displayed in the Queen's Museum.
Oh, I forgot about that. You're right.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Also, you did a ballroom dancing residency where you learned the tango and...
Wow, that's right. I forgot about that. And then I did the lessons after.
We did private lessons after for your ballroom dancing.
Man.
You actually, I don't know if you remember this, but at baccalaureate, you also danced with one of the girls at a concert.
For your birthday or something.
And it was my birthday, that's right.
Yeah, that's why I did it.
Played the triangle and did a dance. The triangle, the click, and...
As much as my musical talent goes.
Yes, no musical talent whatsoever.
No. All right.
But I think that you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Which was a nice break from academics and sports.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So I think that's it. You grew up to be a good boy.
Thank you. Thanks for adding that in. Thank you for not crying. I appreciate that.
There you go.
All right.
All right. Thank you.